Like, try doing that shit nowadays. Try being in a war and being like, take your yacht and go pick up a bunch of these soldiers in a war. Go to Iraq with your yacht right now.
That's exactly
I'm good.
That's exactly what they asked him to do. It's like,
I don't know, man. I disagree because here's the thing. I grew up sailing and I grew up in the boating community. One of our foundational rules is if there's somebody in distress, you drop what you're doing and you go help them. Especially on open, like if I'm sailing across the Atlantic, this will happen a lot. If another boat fires their distress signal and the Coast Guard can't get to them in time, they send out an alert to all the other boats in the area. And anyone who's close, whether it's a tanker ship or a private yacht or anyone, is requested to go in there and help with the evacuation.
Can you imagine if they did that on land? Like you're in trouble, like on a street, and they're just like, everybody around.
Fucked.
It was like, Leroy right now is in South Central, and he needs some fucking help.
Well, I could tell you being in Florida with the hurricanes and all the flooding, and this happened in Houston too, people would drive from other parts of the country with their boats to load them into the water and help people when it floods. So it's something specific to maritime. I don't know what it is, but it's
a maritime. Well, maritime law is the world's original total law, and which really counts around the world.
Everything
and I'm
should
sure
go by
it
maritime.
has a salesman community. Tell us some more secrets, Devin.
I actually, if you really want to get an insight into the sailing, how it feels to sail around the world, there's a really good YouTube show by this channel called SV Delos, and it's sailing vessel Delos, and it's these two guys, Brian and Brady. They started 7 years ago in the South Pacific on a 53-foot yacht, a 2-mast sailing boat yacht, and they have crew members come on from all over the world, like 4 or 5 girls and guys. They spend like a month or 2 on the boat with them each, and they'll go from like the South Pacific to New Zealand to Australia to Thailand to India to Madagascar to South Africa. They actually just crossed the Atlantic last fall, and now they're in Brazil. But they do a fabulous job of shooting it, and they document their whole experience. So the time on the boat, what it takes to sail, like the rigging, all the life at sea. For like sometimes you cross the Atlantic, bro, you'll be on the boat by yourself, no internet, no nothing, no sight of another human being for over 30 days, sometimes longer. And sometimes you're battling in crazy weather. Like you get caught in the Indian Ocean, is like one of the most dangerous oceans. But I was watching this and I was like, man, I want to go to Madagascar now. And there's islands in there and stuff that I never even knew existed.
Be careful of pirates, man.
That's what I always thought. But then they were like, okay, well, if you know some people, you kind of get in. Most of the time, it's not too bad. The pirates really want to go after like big commercial ships and like take people for ransom and shit.
Random question: is there an updated pirate flag?
The pirate flag had many different. It started with a Jolly Roger, which is a black flag with a skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
But like Blackbeard's flag was not that at all. It was a skeleton with a spear and a bleeding heart.
But who does like black nigga have?
Hey, was that racist? Is that a spear chucking skeleton? That feels racist.
Like who's on his flag?
That's just a
the
black
20
fist with 2 guns crossed
with
in
an
the back.
AK-47.
It's like a Hunter S. Thompson Gonzo.
Yeah, like if you're in the high seas right now, is there a flag that? Oh fuck, here they come!
It goes by colors. So
Those
like
Somalians.
If you
what's their flag?
It's just
just
black.
the Somalian flag.
They don't have flags
hand
because
grenade.
Look, check it out.
hand grenade.
They try to mask themselves as fishing boats. So what the Somalians will do, they'll have a big fishing boat like a shrimp boat trawler, and then they'll have a bunch of little like dinghies with big engines on it up next to it. So it's like a mothership, and the mothership will go out a couple hundred miles, and then when they see a big ship, they'll send out all the little ones. And you fly colors when you're on the high seas. So when you're coming into port, like if I sailed from here to like Panama or something. When I come into the port at Panama, I have to fly like a yellow flag. And that means that I'm coming in and I'm coming to check in with customs, and I haven't been cleared by port yet. Like I haven't been inspected. You haven't checked out my passport. Once you get that, then you fly a different flag. And you got to fly your country's flag where the boat is registered. So all these are signals about how all these things go. But in speaking of flags, everything, I really kind of wanted to touch this because I literally last night just watched this movie, the new Pirates of the Caribbean. So Dead Men Tell No Tales that just came out this past year, and it's on Netflix now. It just got released on Netflix. So I watched it last night, and I fucking hated On Stranger Tides. That movie sucked. The one with Penelope Cruz. It was terrible. Terrible. Let me tell you what, though. Dead Men Tell No Tales, probably the best Pirates movie since the first one.
Wait, it's out now on Netflix?
Yeah, it was really good.
The only yeah, you gotta watch. It was really good. The only problem I had with it was they blew their whole fucking budget on Johnny Depp. So it was like I felt like a lot of the props and stuff were bad, but it was a really good movie. I just felt like it was.
That's the one where the dude's like on board, but he looks like he's underwater, but he's still out of water. Yeah. He's like moving, his whole shit's like moving, right?
Yeah,
that's the one, right?
Yeah,
I've seen that shit.
That's the one. Right?
It was good.
It was there was about 4 parts plot wise that were kind of cheesy, you know, like the setup and like. But once you got into it, one of my favorite things about it was Jack Sparrow was like Jack Sparrow in the first movie, not like a character of himself, which what he was in 2, 3, and 4. He like in the whole first, I clocked it too because I was watching it on the thing on Netflix, and I go for the first 35 minutes of the film, Jack Sparrow's blackout drunk. He is falling over, constantly drinking rum, fucking shit up, like drunken boxing, like, you know, like it was hilarious. And I was like, that feels more like an actual pirate. In the story itself, the story is about, you know, Will Turner's son. And see, one of the good points about Dead Man's Chest, the first one, was the core of the story was about Will and Elizabeth. And then Jack was kind of a supporting role. And the mistake they made is in the following movies, they made Jack the main character.
Yeah.
This one, they did the reverse. Jack was still a supporting role, and they followed the story about this guy and this girl's relationship. And I think that's how the premise of those scripts should work the best. So that was really cool. But anyways.
Well, that was deep.
Pirate sailing.
I just want to say, I think I just found out I'm a fucking pirate. Because I had no idea that was the rules. Because I'm drunk all the time.
Yo, everybody out there, if you're listening to this, please go check out SV Delos. They're awesome. I've talked to those guys. They're straight up. They live in the dream. And they do all of the way they fund their journey is 100% by donations and Patreon accounts. So it's other sailors going around the world, seeing them and being like, what you're doing is awesome. Thank you. And sharing it. And they're funny as fuck too, man. Like the crew, like that's why it works so well. They got a couple like 100,000 views per episode. And they have like a good 4 years of doing this. So, and this is like the episode every month at least. So it's really cool to see, like, what are we doing today? Oh, we're going to go to this random island that nobody knows about, dock up, film it with GoPros and A7Ss and all these professional cameras, and then dive on these reefs that nobody's ever seen before.
All right,
like,
look,
it's super fucking cool.
I'm just going to, they need to chill, all right? Look, we get it. We get it. You guys are fucking cool, okay? I'm not doing shit. I get it. I'm just kidding.
I was just really impressed with their ability to bring TV and film, like a television, a really good studio. They make good cuts and transitions. And to my knowledge, they don't have any background in this. They just started this. So that's the thing that was really impressive. I was looking at it, I'm like,
familiar.
How the fuck did you just start this with not knowing how to edit, with teaching yourself how to like throw all these great background tracks and do these, they do like voiceovers for narration on the thing. It's like you're watching it on a fucking network.
Dude,
it's really good.
I'm going to do the opposite. I know how to film shit. I just don't know how to sail. I'm going to just set sail and learn on the way.
No, don't do that. You'll die. You will absolutely die.
But I'll film it. It'll be great.
Just set sail.
100% die.
And you're like, start your first lessons on the seas. Like, all right.
Is he sinking 100 feet out? I can still see him. I can still see the motherfucker, and he's dead. I watched him die right now. He's dead.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got, I'm certified to be a captain. So if any of you guys ever want to go sailing, I'll be more than happy to take you.
And I don't have a boat yet.
Shit. As soon as I come up on some money, a couple $100,000 there, I'm gonna buy my boat to live aboard, and that's gonna be my house.
You're gonna be Captain Ron.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Captain Dev.
That is my dream, to live on it. Ever since I saw Sleepless in Seattle and Tom Hanks lived on that boat, I was like, yeah, that's what's up.
Dude, it's dope. I'm telling you, man, it's the life. Yep. It's the fucking life.
I don't know about the seasickness. I don't like this. It needs to be big enough. I'm not really feeling.
I'm good on the seasickness. I'm just scared of deep water, man. I'm black,
how
man. I can't swim that
How do you know
good.
you're good on the seasickness? Have you been
because
out there?
I've been on a daggone yacht before, and I've also been on a daggone cruise to the Bahamas and everything.
But that's
when there's
story.
50-foot waves smacking the side of it, and they got to stick the things out because it's a storm, and that thing's about to fall
being
over.
A rowboat.
What's the difference?
Being a rowboat in the middle of the ocean. That's another story, nigga. Oh my god, like you'll be puking up like nothing's business. Oh my god.
Okay, so it's like super mid, like
It only
like if you're like in a boat that's like enough for like 4 people, like they can really feel the waves. Oh, dude, it's another fucking story, homie. Like
and then you get on land and you're like, you do the wobbly. You can't see me, everybody. But I'm wobbling around.
I never
like
thought
a
it was
idiot.
doing seasickness. I'm thinking just like you. Like I'm on a yacht. Like I've been on water before, but like when it's like one of those like above small boats when you're like this, like after an hour you're like
because I noticed because even people on the cruise they were getting sick and they had to take pills, and even when I got off, I remember about a day after I got off the cruise, I felt like the ground was just moving. For no reason.
Because what your body does and your inner ear does is get acclimated to it. So after about 2 to 3 days of that motion, you stop getting seasick and like you don't need to take pills anymore. You're just fine. But when you're right, when you do get off on land, you feel seasick because it's still like the motion because your brain is trying to adjust and acclimate to like not being on that. But imagine like if you're in port and you're on a sailboat and you're just chilling, going to sleep. It's kind of similar. It would be the effect of you being on a waterbed. Like it's not crazy waves unless it's like a fucking storm or something. But that doesn't really happen when you're like anchored up or like in a harbor or whatever, in a boat slip. It really only happens when you're like out on the open ocean, like fucking sailing.
Man.
like a boat a size of this room right here, like would finish me off.
Yeah. See, I went
It all
deep sea fishing on
depends
one of those.
Feel
Dude, it all depends on where and the waves. Because look, I grew up in
that's true.
Florida, and the boats that we used to fish on were flats boats, and they were like in bay boats. They were like between 15 and 20 feet. So like from the window there to that window there is like the length of the boat. And the waves in the Gulf are very short. They're not dense. They're not like out here. So they're like toot toot. They're like tapping. They're like not like
you
there's
can't
not
surf
a lot of
the Gulf
most.
of Mexico. Basically,
Right.
not most of it.
But if you took that same boat and put it in the Pacific, it would be like, woof, those are like very dense, tall, wide waves. So it's going to give you more of a motion. So it's all really relative, and it depends a lot on the conditions.
True. Like I went deep sea fishing in Alabama, but who knows? Maybe if I went out here, I'd be fucking sick. I'm okay, but I love boats. I've been on boats my whole life, so probably not. But I went deep sea fishing, man, and our captain of this boat was like this crusty 75-year-old Alabama dude who had probably lived on this boat like his whole life. It was great, man. He was like climbing all over the boat, jumping in the water for a bit, and he's like, we just throw that line right over the boat. It was awesome. That's who you got to go fishing with, man. He pulled out some like sucker fish from the ocean and like stuck it on my back.
That's
like,
awesome. That's hilarious. I used to eat sardines out of the live well. When we were hungry as a snack, like we have live bait that we fish with, like catch with the net and stuff, and then we put them on the hook and fish with it. And we're like looking for a snack. I'm like, anchovies. So you just grab one and just hold the head and just bite it and just like throw the head back in the water and just like.
That's
sushi.
how you get sharks, my friend. That's how you get sharks.
I'm fucking Aquaman, bro.
That's gross, dude.
That's gross, dude. Everyone out here listening in their cars is like, what the fuck are they talking about right now?
I'm not talking about shit with these guys. I decided I'm just gonna shut the fuck up until y'all are done talking about the ocean. Fuck it out here. You know what? I've lived in California for 13 years. I've been to the ocean probably 20 times. That's it. I'm better on land.